Alrighty, got some 1939 Ford action going on. Oh, this is a sticky steering wheel. I was worried about hitting something up here. Let me put the wheel chocks up. Alright, it ain't gonna roll backwards. So, this thing belongs to my buddy Joe, White El Camino. You may or may not have seen the video. There's a whole bunch of videos on it. Belongs to his dad. He recently picked this up from a neighbor, I believe. So didn't have to go far. The neighbor had it for nearly a dozen years, I believe. And it needs some attention. So that's what we're gonna do. Main thing, from what I understand, is Chevelle front clip. That's why it kind of looks a little track width happy. And it's also got some camber going on that we need to look at and see what's up with that. So I think I got some ball joints, maybe some tie rod ends. Basically what it's here for is main thing brakes. The rest of it, from this end to that end, I'm supposed to look at it and anything it needs, take care of it. So we'll get it in the air. Or actually, let's just walk around. Let's check her out here. So clearly an older build, which by all means is cool as ever. Like, this is a bucket list car for me. I love these cars because the one that really sticks out in my mind, there was an issue of Hot Rod magazine. It was on the cover. It was primer gray, had no hood, had 3 deuces, and they had like the little, kind of look like chrome forward deals on it. And I was like, I want a 40 Ford or a 39 Ford or a 40. Honestly, I don't know the difference. And I'll never run it with a hood. Like, that was what I said. But it's got some, it's got some age, but it's got a lot of great. Got some, I think this is button tuck is what they call it. But he showed me some badges. So here's what it looked like at one time. It was purple, looked like it was ready to run Bonneville, which looks amazing. Like that right there is fantastic. But these, so you got a Dixie rod run, Dixie rodders in Shelby of 86. How cool is that? And here's the first one, June of 85. This is Spartanburg, Sparkle City, 86. And here's another one, Spartanburg of 85. I think stuff like this in cars is the greatest thing ever. My buddy Daniel has a Chevy 2 that I will own. Daniel owns this thing. I will own this Chevy 2 somehow or another. I don't care what I got to do. But that Chevy 2 has dash plaques on it, and it is very 90s. And that's one of the things that just draws me to that car. It's even sitting on Chevy Rallies, and I think Chevy Rallies looks like Fido's you know what. I'm pretty sure everybody and their brother's probably not going to like that statement, but I don't like rally wheels, and it looks good on rally wheels. So, looks like S10 or Camaro column. This steering wheel, you can definitely tell it's sat around a little while. It's got that GM Gorilla Glue feel. It's like a torque thrust type wheel. It is an all steel car, from what I understand. It's got the blue dots. Pretty solid. Small block Chevy, I didn't cover that. I did not pop the hood. Like I said, it's Chevelle clipped. I think I got to get a hood prop. Let me stick you on the tripod. Hood prop. I need a hood prop. All right, small block Chevy, basic stuff. That power steering, long water pump type deal. That fin is wildly close. Internally regulated stuff. It's definitely not Nova because it's front steer down there. So a lot of this I got to clean up. It's still got, I believe he wants me to do all this, like the external, the voltage regulator, all that crap is useless because it's got the GM alternator. Just to clean up, check over. Just make it look better. Like, there's the choke wire that's tied to that. This is loose and falling off, so surprised they don't have a valve cover leak. I've never seen T-handles like that. Kind of neat. Looks like it's got an Edelbrock carburetor under there, performer intake, air cleaner, valve covers, yada yada. We'll get it in the air. We'll take a look underneath and see what we got as far as transmission and rear end. All right, very old school type build. I would probably say like 70s kind of thing, maybe 80s. Since this thing would have had a beam front axle, it's not everybody's favorite. Probably rides rough, and then you're probably limited on engine swaps and things like that. So this car is clipped. It's clipped front and rear. I was told Chevelle. I hope it's Chevelle because that's the brakes we ordered for it. All right, I got this stuff already unboxed. There was no point in you watching me unbox stuff, but what we got here is it's a full kit: spindles, caliper brackets, dust shields, calipers, pads, bearings, spindle nut, seals, hardware, hoses, brake pins, bearing caps, and crush washers. And looks like that bag there is like a tab, yeah, brake hose tab. I had a small panic attack when I first started reading this until I read another line on in there, because if you get this kit minus these spindles and going to use your drum brake spindle, and that's what I was talking about, I was afraid it would add to the track width. The drum brake spindle, and that's Chevelle only, or Chevrolet only I should say, you have to grind 610 or grinder or mill it off 610 off the top stud of the, I believe, which is right here on the disc brake spindle, so this stuff will bolt up. Thankfully this kit comes with new spindles. I don't have to do that, but if you have a BOP car, Buick Olds Pontiac, then it says it won't even work if with the grinding. It recommends just getting a spindle, so you should get this spindle. So Chevelle A-body, 64 to 72, and I believe it says mid-size. Let's see, allows you to use 11-inch mid-size and mid-size calipers. So unless mid-size, so yeah, that's everything we got. These are rotors in this box, and if you're wondering, all this is to your door for $470, $182, which not bad as long as everything works right. So I got this thing in the air, I got it on the air jack, and it definitely has some, I mean, it's obviously drooped out some, but it's definitely got some odd geometry going on here. I don't really know what's up. It almost looks like the lower control arm could be cut and pulled in, or the top control arm could be cut and pushed out, but it would be better if you sucked it in there. Anyway, we're going to pull the wheels off this thing, get the drums off. Instructions are pretty cut and dry. Like, it tells you about Loctite and certain stuff. The caliper bracket goes on, then the disc deal, or the dust shield, and Loctite it all. Pack bearings, pretty much assemble the spindle before it goes on the car, which I don't really guess it matters. Honestly, I would rather put the spindle on by itself because it's lighter. Well, not just by itself, without the rotor. I don't need the rotor on there. Let me put the rotor on the car. All right, so let me pull some wheels, we'll get to it. All right, we're gonna try the new mount here. We can do like a hands-free kind of POV type deal. Okay, like I said, think Chevelle, don't think, well, I grabbed the wrong socket, but think Chevelle, don't think 1939 Ford. So, get the right socket here. I'm just gonna knock this whole assembly apart as a full assembly, leave the drum and all that junk. We'll take, looks like the brake hoses are fairly new. That line's fairly new, so that's pretty reassuring, and that is not gonna be, that's gonna need an impact. There's not a single cotter pin in any of this. No cotter pin there. I don't know what you can see because I can't see what you can see, which is a good thing that we jumped on this and looked at it, because a little sketchy. The lug nuts on this side were German. They were Gudentite. the lug nuts on the other side were not tight. They were the almost oh crap area of loose. All right, so that's 11/16 for the tie rod. I don't have much hammer swinging room, so I got the air hammer out and we'll pound on that with that. That way I don't blast one of these original Ford fenders. Let's go ahead and get this brake hose loose and start making a mess. All right, we'll let that mop up. When I get that loose, I'll put a rubber cap on it and seal it up. So I got this loose. Let's go ahead and knock that tie rod out of there. All right, we may have to hit that with the actual hammer. I will change air hoses and air hammers if I have to. There we go. That out of the way. We're making a good mess here. I should probably get something to catch that in. There we go. It drips right in there, like it was supposed to be. All right, let's go ahead and take this line the rest of the way loose. I'll just go through doing one side with you because there's no point in doing both sides. Or on camera, no point in doing both sides. That might be enough to not do a darn thing. Save that guy, I might need it later. Oh yeah, that ain't doing diddly. Let's try another one. That might slow her down. Get that out of the way. We'll jump in here and get this top. Wait, I had the right wrench. Can't get to that with a ratchet in because of the sway bar end link, but looks pretty loose, so might not need the ratchet side. I hope I can get this ball joint loose with this air hammer and not. He said there was ball joints in the car, so maybe I need to take a look. I don't believe this thing's ever had ball joints. Nope, they're still riveted in. So it's a factory ball joint of whatever it is. All right, that ain't coming loose. I hate these, they tear up boots. If there's ball joints in there, we'll just go ahead and replace them. May need to get a real hammer. There we go. That thing's out of the way. Not this. Let's get this lower one. Then we can get this whole unit out of there. Oh. Air hammer has let me down. There we go. I could have swore that came out of there. It did. Yeah, it tore the boot up somewhat. The ball joint actually feels pretty good. Could probably just use some grease. This one's actually great. Like, they're all tight. So they're either still good or just rusty, but I feel like they're still good. They're not like gritty or nothing. Unfortunately, it did tear the boot. But I don't believe this car will ever be driven enough to worry with that. All right, so I'm gonna get everything together and we'll get one side assembled. All right, I just got the spindle kind of set in here. Honestly, the ball joints are so good. I don't necessarily know if it's like, it's kind of a waste of time to do them. Like, I ain't trying to have somebody pay for something that they don't even need. We could shoot those with grease and they'll be just fine. I mean, even though this boot tore, it's still going to take grease. So honestly, I don't think it needs it. Like, even the tie rod feels, it's dry, but it's not slack. None of it is, actually. So maybe it was replaced when these weren't, obviously. Well, I can't say for that bottom, but I know that top one's never been. It's still riveted in. But it doesn't really need it, so I'm not going to do it. We'll just keep on keeping on with this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just going to put a nut on this top ball joint. That way nothing falls out. Same with the bottom, and we'll go back and tighten everything up when we get closer to being done. So passenger side's the right side. You can't get this wrong. The spindles are the same left to right. Like, I've looked at them and it doesn't say any type of designated anything. So this goes on, and then your dust shield will go on. You cannot put it on wrong. Like, if you put it on wrong, stuff will bend and you'll know it. It's also stepped right here to make up for the difference in this thickness, because that sandwich is in between and this goes directly to the spindle. So it asks for the red Loctite, so that's what we got. You will get a spare bolt in this. This bolt would go right here in your drum brake spindle that you machine down. You see, it's already thinned down, so that's giving you room. These spindles come with this bolt already installed, so don't panic when you have a spare. I believe it's a 5/8 fine thread bolt, which might be 5/8 24 or something, I don't know. So throw those in your fine thread drawer for a never use later, but if you need them, you got them. So let's dope this stuff up. I think it's about time to get some more Loctite. All right, so you know what? We gotta have steering arms. I gotta steal steering arms off this right here. About forgot. So you'll need to buzz those off and reuse those for your tie rod. But I can lightly hang all this stuff right now, and we can put those on in a second. All right, so we'll just let that hang for a second. We'll go over here and buzz these off. More than likely, I have to knock that drum off because I highly doubt you'll get this nut without slipping that bolt. So I'm gonna carry these in there to the shop on the table. Make sure I got room. All right, well, I didn't show you taking it apart, but just as I reinstall it, that's how it works. So it goes on like this. You know you can't put it on wrong because if you try to do it this way, it ain't gonna work. It's also notched for it's notched. I don't know if you can see it because I can barely see it. And this end's hot because I had to torch it. So I'm just gonna stick this bolt through here and hold it. Hot. All right, so we're kind of loosely assembled here. I'll put this nut on too. The stock stuff was 3/4, so was this. So we'll snug all this down. That's 15/16. Somebody talked about that. Let's see. I don't know if I can get this giant ratchet wrench in there. All right. Need to tighten that one up. My impact maybe, no, it's healthy. Thought it was about dead. I believe you can bend those tabs over as well. So it's a little close in the A-arm, but it'll work. Also still have to tighten it up so it'll actually suck it up in there. So don't worry about what I just said. Now we can loosely stick the tie rod back in the deal. And next up, pack bearings. So I guess we'll cover, might as well cover packing bearings. We'll cover the whole thing, knocking seals in and all that fun stuff, and then setting it on there, setting the caliper, putting the hoses to it. And it's pretty cut and dry. Let me see if I got some rubber gloves. I hope I do. I don't think I do, because last time I did bearings on that thing, I didn't have any. So that's fun. That's something to look forward to. Probably should be something I should get. Well, let me put this junk back up. Well, we can look at this right now. These bolts come through. You probably can't see it. Get you a 3/4 inch and hold that and way down in there. And actually, this thing, it's upside down at the moment, but you can see it's wet. So it actually had a wheel cylinder leaking anyway. the shoes look fairly new. You can see they're still shiny black and there's writing right there. So well, I wouldn't say new. They just don't have that many miles on them. Same with the hoses. It's not been that long ago that somebody put shoes and hoses on it. All right, well, let's pack some bearings. All right, I'm just gonna do one of these on camera. I'm gonna do all 4 and just get it over with. But we'll just do one and I'll show you how to do it. I guess it's about time for another tube. Well, I got this one, but this is for the grease gun. I think I've cut her down a few times. So I'm just gonna rake this right off there with the bearing. And we'll just start using that. I have one of those bearing packers, but I feel like it wastes more grease than it does good, so I'll just do it this way. Then wait for my wife to come down here and give her a surprise high five. So just keep forcing that stuff in there until it starts oozing out. You want to make sure that those rollers are slap full of grease as much as possible. So that's pretty well full. I'm gonna keep on keeping on, and I'm gonna cut this camera off while I got at least 1 or 2 out of 9 good fingers or clean fingers to turn the camera off. So I'll be back with you. All right, I forgot to show the seal install, but you know, drop the seal in the back. I put a little extra grease in there before I put that on there. I know it's gonna squeeze out, but it makes me happy, so that's why I do it. Why is this so hard to get on there? What's the deal? There we go. All right, so your spindle nut, washer, and cotter pin, the set comes in the same bag, so keep that in mind. Let me get a proper tool. All right. So I'm gonna snug this up. I'm gonna make a little bit of a mess. Get this thing seated, and then I'm gonna back it off about a face turn. Honestly, feels pretty good right there. So we'll leave it where it's at. And for now, I'm just gonna drop this cotter pin in the spot, so we can continue on with the rest of this stuff. Caliper, I could turn the light on. Caliper, pads, hose, pins, all that. We got steel tighten ball joints, tie rod. So let's see what we got here. So here's your hoses, the pins, the dust caps. Let's see. Hoses seem to be identical. So, and they are certainly long. Let's look at them both. There may be a left and a right. Well, they want to lay differently, so we'll just see which one fits the best. And then caliper bolt. Somewhere in here I've seen crush washer. There's the tab, there's crush washers. That's a new bolt on tab. We may change that. May have to change that. Yeah, we will. I'll just go ahead and change that. I hope I can get up in there. That might be terribly fun. It may just be, hopefully it's a threaded, like one of those thread cutting bolts or whatever. 2 caliper pins. We'll put all this other stuff back in here for the other side. There's the other caliper bolt. And we'll keep one dust cap over here. Alright, so all this, we can take over there. Let me grab a caliper. Let's see, that's the left. Here's a right. Bleeder screw goes up, remember that. We gotta get some pads too, don't we? So, it'll go just like that. Let's see, here we go. In case you're wondering, this is probably all imported stuff, but it's one of those things. I don't think you can win every battle. So you got an inner and outer. I'll put these back in the box. We have 5 crush washers, so hopefully maybe it's just an accidental spare. I thought there was a little clip thing that all I got is this guy. What is this little thing? I thought that was like a little spider. All right, so let's lay the pads in here. Every other one I've seen had a little clip-on thing that held it into this piston. I have never seen this before. I feel like that's what it's for. Just to hold this together somehow, because why would that just float around? Am I special? Because I don't know what's going on with this. Well, it's bad. There's probably been 10 sets of these things thrown away around here. Probably the same as G-Body S10. And I could have stole the doohickey off the back. But I have no idea what that's for. And I don't understand why that would just float. I mean, it should float some, but it seems a little excessive to me. But let's stick it together and see what happens. Ah, dropped it. Let's see if I can get this one in there. See, that's the problem. Like, the inner pad just ain't gonna go where it needs to go easily. Oh, Something's wacky here. That'll never work. What have I got wrong? This pin won't work. Wait a minute. No, these pins are the same. Your threads are in this bracket. Even with this piece that floats, look, your threads are going to run out. It'll never tighten up. That's interesting. All right, so I may need to get some factory brake pins. I don't know, I'll get back to you on this.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
All right, got down here early, but I've got nothing accomplished due to running around and whatnot, but that's how it goes. And then I realized that about 10 after 6 this morning that I needed to use the big hammer, and since I still don't have a door or insulation, I'm sure the neighbors would not appreciate that. So that clip that I couldn't find yesterday, I actually found it in the box with the caliper. The clip that that holds the pad in. So I got my pin situated, but there's the clip. That's what it's supposed to look like. So I'm going to try to bring that thing back to the, I don't know. We'll try to do it as much as I can. It's got to have that darn clip in there. It ain't going to work. So here's the pin they sent. This is a 72 Chevelle factory pin. This actually works. It goes, I got one installed right there. You can see it. So I don't know what the heck these are for. Maybe just something, maybe they're machined wrong, or maybe they're just misboxed. I don't know, but could have probably, if I had to, I could have turned this right here back, took it to work, and carefully kind of come in behind those threads and just turned it back. It would have probably been okay as far as even leaving enough for the hex, because if you line the threads up, I only had to turn it back to right there. So in a pinch, that's what I would have done. But these were about $10 for 4 pins, so $5 a pair, a pack, whatever. So I'm going to pull this back apart, and we'll put the pad and all the stuff back in. We'll put the right pins in. Go ahead and put the hose on. I don't know if I'm going to tighten the ball joints and tie rod in up just yet, but we'll knock out the hose, the caliper, the pads, and all that other stuff, and keep on moving. All right, I'm going to pull this caliper back out of here. I still don't know what them little tiny little square tabs are for, but all right, let's see what kind of miracle can work with this. Need some good needle nose. These aren't good, but they'll work. So here's our target. All right, so let's try to straighten this one up first. really think about it this morning, but I could have seen if they had any of these at O'Reilly's. What was that, a three-legged wiener dog? I believe that'll work. Let's see. Inside. It just bent. Oh, it broke. Not good. Not good at all. What am I gonna do? All right, let me see if I can get one from O'Reilly's. All right, I've struck out. I went all through the junkyard. I did find calipers I needed for caliper cores, and this, I mean, these things fit. Look, Chevrolet 69 to 05, GMC to 3, Zuzu to 2000, but nobody stocks these things. Not available. Well, I mean, might be available, but I can't go get them anywhere. Funny thing is, I needed calipers for cores, and look, there's dang caliper pins. So, I got a mayday out with the gang to see if we can find a clip. I hate to go buy pads just for this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this one to go together with this side and then give some time for the other side and see if I can find something. So, wish me luck. I think my light's about to die. Yep. Let's see, I need a ratchet. Brake hose, it's one of these just naturally kind of flows. Where is the bolt? Where's the banjo here? Here's the banjo bolt, here's the washers. Let's just mock it up first. I can't see it, I know you can't see it. Oh yeah, we need to change those, don't we? That's kind of wacky. Unless I can get that in there. I might be able to get a clip on that. If I don't have to change it, I ain't worried about it. Kind of like this one better. All right, I don't know if you can see me back there, but that's what we're doing. I'm gonna leave her like that. Yeah, it looks fine there. All right, got to get a clip. Let's see if that clip will go on there without having to change that tab. It may be too thick. Yeah, see, this one's kind of got a hex thing going on. That way it locks it in. So we'll have to change this tab. No big deal. Let me put this back over this hose or this line. All right. Did I say if there was a nut back there? I hope there's not. All right, good. All right, so I've got to drill that out. I'll be right back. All right, I just buzzed like a 315 drill through there and opened it up. Granted, it sits a little different. This one had a little ear and a tab to keep it from spinning, but you know, it's just gonna have to be how it is. Oh, my hose flipped over. It's a little lower, so we're gonna have to be careful getting this thing started because it wants to. All right. Might have to get the tubing bender pliers on it. Yeah, I can get it in there. Yeah, see the shape wasn't jiving. All right, just double checking that. Bleeder up, hose goes up. All right, just making sure because I couldn't see back there. Also don't have a wrench to tighten that. All right, so that's the hose and all. Calipers tight, pads are in like they're supposed to be. So that's that. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna jump on this other side. I've kind of already started taking it apart other than the hammering this morning. So the nuts and all that stuff are loose. I'm about to knock it loose. Do everything I did over here, over there. Hope I find that anti-rattle clip. I got a Mayday out for one. And we'll go back over everything, make sure everything's tight, put it together, bleed some brakes, see if she stops. So let me do that side, I'll get back to you. All right, I got the clip. Couldn't find just the clip, but luckily, and you know, O'Reilly's probably had it, but I just happened to ask the guy in advance. O'Reilly's was, but I found a wherever part number and a Dorman part number. I couldn't find just the clip. But, and I didn't Google this to see what this is exactly called, but this is the little slides and the O-rings and all for a caliper. I just told him 72 Chevelle, and which it probably fits everything under the sun. But it came with, that was our guy right there. So it was only $7. Thankfully they had it, got me put together. So got this side done, it's all buttoned up. Other than, still got to tighten up the tie rod ends and the ball joints. So everybody's happy other than those three things. I'm gonna do that right now. And then I gotta move on, gotta do something about a master cylinder. And because we're going to add a proportion valve, we're gonna do that probably, I feel like that looks like Mustang master cylinder. Like 65 Mustang type stuff. So that's our next feat. I'm gonna start soaking those lines. Don't really want to tear the lines up. After that, it's a bunch of cleanup stuff. So just this video will be just brakes. And then I'll probably do a second video on whatever else I do, which he said do whatever I wanted to do, to be honest with you. Or as much as I wanted to do. So I got several things, but we'll cover that in the second video. And I'm gonna get on figuring this master cylinder out. And, I'll get back to you when I know what we're doing there. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.